Hey guys, it's Sash, and I'm going to be covering most of the CT things on Overpass. I'm going to start with B short. A lot of times when I'm pugging or when I'm playing, I'll always take B short control, and first of all I'll throw a smoke. So in between these two, sort of like, I like to call them Tesla coils because that's what I can see from here. You just basically put your crosshair open in between both of them and right click a smoke with a jump. Basically blocks out terrorists from running through, and if they do, you should get the kill most times. When you're running into B short, be very careful to actually strafe down this. Getting really close up and personal will help you out because they won't expect you to be so close. Once you've gotten this and you're fairly certain they're not coming through, it's a good idea to get yourself in this corner so that you can't die from the guys in connector quickly, and then slowly make your way through. If you hear the flashbang, you know what's happening and they're coming through the door. If not, this is a really strong position to hold. As soon as they open the door, you get one kill, but you really need two people to be here, otherwise you just can't do enough damage yourself. If you're up against a force buy, I strongly recommend you just ditch all B short map control. There's no reason for me to run in with an M4 here when the guy's going to jump through with a Tech 9 and probably pop me in the head. There's absolutely no reason at all. And while B monster is actually a terrible place to start executing onto B site, if you're on CT and you don't know what you're doing, it can work as a terrorist. So here's the way to counter that. A lot of people, they really love these barrels. I'm not a huge fan of it. I would always play pillar on site over barrels because you're not likely to get Molotov, you're likely to get some lurk smoke plays, and you can also fall back from different angles and challenge different people at different times. Really tests the communication of the enemy team, really tests what they're calling. But if you're up against a force buy, you should really be taking this setup. One person in graffiti, you're just going to be chilling. You're going to kill anyone that pushes into water. You're going to kill anyone that pushes your teammates into water from barrels. And you're also going to be killing people that come out monster if they don't have a bridge smoke. You're basically going to abuse mistakes that they make. The second person, he can play passive, he can get a couple picks here, make sure they don't come through sight and kill him, make sure that he's not getting flashed, make sure that the people that are pushing aren't getting rewarded for it. That's the crucial thing, is making sure that you shut down stupid plays from the terrorists. Things like, as soon as they start planting, you can kill him from spamming this. There's no need, from what I see a lot of people, where they peek out, kill the guy. You're just going to die to someone holding from short, die to someone holding from monster because they can see your head. If you come back here onto this nice little raised piece of platform, it's very difficult for them to get the perfect head angle on you, and you can also still spam the bomb planter and potentially kill him. Depending on where he's planting, of course. You know, they're not always going to plant here or here or here. Sometimes they'll actually plant right here. It all depends on what the T's have in their game plan. But this is why on a force buy, you should play retake. You should play really passive, wait for the smokes to go if they've thrown smokes, wait for the Molotovs, let them use their utility, and just win on aim fights and trading. Because you've got the man advantage, you've got the map advantage, you've got the utility advantage, and you've got the economy advantage. So there's no reason for them to be able to come through short through the Molotov. There's no reason for a guy to be hiding behind here when you've got a Molotov. They can't come out monster, and you've got a smoke on the guy defusing. You've used all your utility really wisely, and you've capitalized on the fact that they have a lower economy than you, and that's how you should be playing the rounds, minimizing the risk towards your own players. Now, on a gun round, it's completely different. So how you want to hold B, you don't really want to get passive. In fact, sometimes it's eligible to say we're going to anchor from monster. Now, to anchor from monster, first thing you have to do is get an early smoke up so that you can cross without getting spammed, without getting spotted. A lot of pro players I see, they like to get up on this wall and surf it. I personally don't like it very much. I feel like the position isn't going to get me many kills, but it really will if you're baiting properly for this guy. If this guy's in a star player role and he's got a teammate back here who's going to take the first contact, then he's in the perfect position to pop out and get all the kills. Now, it makes it very difficult for this guy on monster, but he can do it. The setup is going to be one person sitting there, one person facing monster, and one person playing on this part of the site. This guy on site is basically just going to stop them from wrapping outside here. This guy is going to be watching monster and watching short. You can actually spam through this before they even see you. If they've thrown their smokes, you count to 3, 1, 2, 3. Start spamming this. It'll probably get you 1 kill. Don't commit your entire spray because you're going to have to reload. Don't be an idiot. Just shoot 20, 10 bullets. You don't have to get too greedy and commit all 30 bullets. And remember that they're going to be flashing over monster. This guy's probably going to be blind. He's got the hardest job out of everyone. But he's baiting for this teammate and this teammate. They're not going to be expecting this guy to be here. This guy needs to be really patient. Make sure that the AWPer comes out, the AKs come out. Make sure there's not 4 of them. Make sure one guy's not late from the flank and he gets you behind. You really got to be careful in this position. A lot of decision making needs to go right. But this guy needs to get as many kills as he can before he dies. And this guy is hardly ever going to be Molotov'd, occasionally smoked out. And when he is smoked out, he just needs to go for it, make a play, delay by Molotovs, delay by killing bomb plants. Or, if monster's clear, you can actually fall back, play a little cubby angle. I know a lot of people's in high FPL games and high FACEIT games, you can actually stand here. I'm not holding S or anything. You can literally just stand there and you're perfectly accurate. As for walking sideways, doesn't really work out, but that's a nice little elevated angle that's gonna basically elevate your head, make you a lot harder to kill. They're gonna have to hit a much harder shot onto you. That's holding from monster. Now, keeping man advantage on A is very important on CT. A lot of times you're going to put 2 people towards A, potentially 1 person towards A, and then 1 person's going to come and connect to help the short B control. Maybe even you give up on A completely. You just go straight for the B play. You've got 3 people on site. 1 guy's boosting on top of your heading connector. You've got your smokes and Molotovs out, so you can't die connector. You get a free kill here. You fall back through connector, through the door, and then depending on whether you've read that they're B or read that they're connector or read that they're 100% A, you can tell your friends to rotate all the way onto A site. It's a real gamble, but the setups can work, especially if you're swift on the rotates and the information plays that you make. It also means that if you know it's A and you're playing 2 connector, you can go for a fast flank. One of you can hold the connector control, one of you can hold the entirety of B map control by just listening to the connector door when it opens. This is a really good spot because people are just going to jump down, potentially not check you. High tier players are going to acknowledge that you can be here and they are going to spot you here, and really bad position players here because you're dead up taking an unfavorable aim fight. You're closer to a spammable piece of wood. They're just going to kill you 9 times out of 10. Really, really bad play. But keeping a man advantage on A is all about getting your AWPer, supporting him, getting the kill, falling back. So ideally he gets a kill Guardian. Then he's going to fall back to stairs and he's going to get a kill on tree. Then he's going to fall back and he's going to get a kill in here. And then he's going to get a kill in here. That's 4 kills. Last guy's on long and he gets the final kill. You see a lot of AWPers like Fallen loving playing this dustbin. There's a lot of elevation, there's a lot of spammable walls, there's a lot of close angles that people aren't going to be, and there's a lot of friendly support flashing. What's really smart about the way Fallen plays is that he gets a teammate to Molotov out here, he gets teammates that are going to flash different angles for him, and basically everyone's going to be blind and he gets to take as many shots as possible. Keeping him alive is super crucial to keeping man advantage. Even just smoking out this and letting someone play behind the smoke is a really good way of playing A. Now, it's also important, depending on how deep you want your CT sides to go, to keep pressure in map control without keeping a man. A lot of times I'll throw a better smoke than that. I'll throw a smoke here, it'll bounce into deep connector, I'll throw a Molotov in pugs because they throw a Molotov and run through, and then they're running through my Molotov and friendly Molotov, triggers their team, gets them all upset, and it also does a lot of damage while no one's actually playing in connector. It's especially good if your AWPer is very dominant on the Guardian peak. He's got a lot of information, he's saying they're not rushing, you get a lot of free damage, a lot of free nade damage. Potentially you nade the door if you know that they're rushing B and you get a nice little spray down onto B short. There's a lot of damage you can do without actually committing your life, which is really useful to keep the pressure in connector so that Ts are going to keep using their utility where they shouldn't. You know, if you're playing Guardian every single round, they're going to keep using that flashbang. If you're playing these different angles, they're going to have to use their utility. And as a CT, that's the one thing you want to do. Bait utility so that they can't do an execute and not give away picks so they can't play a picking style. If they can't do any of them, then they have to stop taking map control. They have to play a basic A execute or a basic B execute, or they'll resort to simple rushes that just aren't as viable as strategies as the rest of them. They still work, but they're not as viable. And it's really important to keep pressure in map control where you necessarily aren't always. So, you know, keeping an AWPer towards A long, keeping an AWPer towards toilet, it is always really useful. I think Overpass is a really good map for an AWPer. You can really set them up for a lot of star players on CT side. Even AWPing onto B short, getting him boosted up, getting someone boosted up into CT lower B, super, super good. You can actually see most of Monster as they come out if you get this boost. You can see them on short. It's a really nice way of playing against force buys on B. You get some really, really nice 3Ks, 4Ks from your AWPer before you even have to throw a single flashbang. That flashbang being off the side here so it doesn't blind your AWPer. Don't be a douchebag and blind your AWPer. And one final thing on Overpass on CT side is understand how a lot of T side strategies are all based around the bomb plant. And it's super useful if you've got a smoke. If you've got a smoke to deny a Molotov and to stick a defuse and to play out the 1v1s in a really correct manner, it'll help you win so many different rounds. Just imagine this, you're in a 1v1, it happens all the time. There's a guy in toilets and they've planted for default. Get a smoke, tap the bomb, and just walk around the back of site. Get a little bit of elevation. He's going to be scared. He's going to be thinking, oh my god, this guy's defusing. I have to commit to a spray. I don't know what decision I need to make. He will peek you. If he doesn't peek you, then he's outplayed you, and there's not much you can do about that other than sticking the defuse or tapping it again. But most likely he's going to peek you. Whether you whiff the shot or not is your fault, and whether he peeks you on the right or on the left is his choice. But it basically puts the advantage in your favor. Smokes are super crucial on retakes, really helpful on B as well if you can smoke out Monster, even smoke out the bomb, smoke out short, Molotov out short, smoke out Monster. There's so many combinations that utility is very, very useful for a retake map such as Overpass, where you commit a lot of utility into something so simple as not even holding a bomb site in connector or B. So just keeping a little bit of utility if you think that the position you're playing or the role you're playing on CT doesn't require as much utility. Maybe you're the AWPer on A and you've already got someone supporting for you. You don't need to use your own utility. You can save that Molotov for the retake. Anyway, I'll see you in the next video.